Have you ever left a room feeling smaller than when you walked in? Nothing was said out loud. No insults, no arguments, no raised voices. Everyone smiled, everyone shook your hand. And yet something in you knew that things were not what they seemed. Here is an uncomfortable truth. The people who dislike you the most rarely announce it. They do not raise their voices. They do not declare war. They smile. They applaud. They say all the right things while quietly hoping you stumble. Machiavelli understood this over 500 years ago. He knew that a hidden enemy is far more dangerous than an open one, because an open enemy forces you to defend yourself. A hidden enemy convinces you that everything is fine, right up until the moment it isn't. Today, you are going to learn the subtle behaviors that expose people who secretly resent you, long before they get the chance to damage your reputation, your relationships, or your future. And stay until the end, because the final behavior on this list is the one almost everyone mistakes for friendship. It has quietly ended more careers, more partnerships, and more good people's confidence than open hatred ever could. Before we start, do one small thing. In the comments, write, "I trust actions more than words." This is not for the algorithm. It is a reminder to yourself, because the moment you start paying closer attention to what people do instead of what they say, their true intentions become almost impossible to hide. Now, let's begin. Behavior number 1. Their congratulations feel hollow. Not every congratulations is sincere. Some people smile because it is socially expected of them. They clap because silence would say too much. Their words sound supportive, but something about the delivery feels off, almost rehearsed. Watch closely, and you will notice that their excitement never quite reaches their eyes. They offer you carefully measured phrases. "That's nice." "Good for you." "Wow, you got lucky." They acknowledge your win just enough to seem polite, never enough to actually celebrate it with you. There is no real joy in their voice, no pride on your behalf. Just obligation, dressed up as kindness. Think about the difference. A real friend hears your good news, and their face lights up before they even finish processing it. They ask follow-up questions. They want details. They tell other people about your win before you even get the chance to. That is what genuine support looks like. It magnifies your victories because your joy becomes their joy too. A hidden enemy does the opposite. They shrink your accomplishment until it feels ordinary. They change the subject fast. They mention a flaw you hadn't thought about, or bring up someone else who has already done something bigger. It is not really about you. It is about protecting their own sense of self. Machiavelli understood something essential about human nature, that people are constantly measuring themselves against those around them. The instant your progress reminds someone of the gap between where they are and where they wish they were, admiration can quietly curdle into resentment. They are not upset that you succeeded. They are upset because your success forces them to look at their own excuses, their missed chances, their unused potential. The higher you climb, the more uncomfortable your presence becomes for anyone who has been measuring their own worth against yours. So watch carefully. Real friends celebrate your rise. Hidden enemies merely tolerate it. And tolerance dressed up as enthusiasm is easy to spot once you know what you're looking for. Behavior number 2. They always have an explanation for your success, and it's never you. Have you noticed how some people always seem to have a reason for your achievements, and that reason is somehow never your effort, your discipline, or your talent? If you worked hard, they say you got lucky. If you earned a promotion, they say you knew the right people. If your business took off, they say the timing just happened to be perfect. In their mind, your success can never be about your character, because admitting that would force them to question every excuse they have made for themselves over the years. This is one of the oldest defense mechanisms there is. It is far easier to shrink someone else's accomplishment than to admit your own lack of action. By convincing themselves that your win was accidental or somehow undeserved, they protect their own pride from an uncomfortable truth. Machiavelli wrote that wounded pride blinds people far more effectively than ignorance ever could. Someone consumed by envy does not see reality clearly. They reshape it piece by piece until it feels less threatening to their ego. Pay attention to the people who always find a way to explain away your wins. They will never openly attack your success, because that would reveal the resentment underneath. Instead, they quietly chip away at its value until it seems unremarkable. Their goal has nothing to do with understanding your journey. Their goal is making sure your progress never becomes a mirror they have to look into. Behavior number 3, they watch you far too closely. This one tends to surprise people, because we naturally assume that anyone who pays close attention to us must care about us. In reality, the people who secretly dislike you often study your life more carefully than your closest friends ever do. They notice where you go, who you're spending time with, what you bought last week, what you posted 2 days ago, even small shifts in your daily routine. They remember details you don't even remember sharing because they have been quietly cataloging them. At first, this kind of attention can feel almost flattering, but it rarely comes from admiration. It comes from comparison. Real supporters cheer your growth without feeling threatened by it. Hidden enemies track your progress because every step forward you take is a step they now have to measure themselves against. They keep score quietly, waiting to see whether you rise or whether you stumble. Every win of yours becomes, in their mind, another reminder of what they haven't done yet. Machiavelli understood that people driven by envy often become close students of the very person they resent. They gather information, not to learn from your journey, but to satisfy a quiet obsession and search for weaknesses they can hold on to for comfort. Never mistake constant attention for genuine respect. Sometimes, the person who knows the most about your life isn't your biggest fan. They're your quietest competitor, and the wisest thing you can do is recognize the difference between someone watching you grow and someone watching you waiting. Behavior number 4. They disappear the moment things get hard. Life has a way of showing you exactly who belongs in your corner. When things are going well, you may be surrounded by people who laugh with you, celebrate your wins, and love being around you. But the moment life gets difficult, the room starts to empty out. Messages slow down. Invitations dry up. The people who once swore they'd always be there suddenly have 100 reasons why they can't. What looked like loyalty was often just convenience wearing a friendly face. Machiavelli understood that hardship reveals character in a way that comfort never can. Anyone can stand next to someone who is winning. Success draws people in because they enjoy being associated with strength and opportunity. But very few stay once uncertainty replaces certainty. Hidden enemies often wait for the hard seasons because those seasons show them something they secretly hoped for: you struggling. They may not celebrate your hardship out loud, but they don't rush to help either. They watch from a distance, quietly telling themselves that your struggles somehow justify the resentment they've been carrying. Pay attention to who reaches out when you have nothing to offer them in return. Genuine friends stick around because they value you, not your circumstances. The ones who quietly vanish were never really committed to you in the first place. They were committed to whatever benefit came from standing near you. Never confuse someone's presence during your best moments for proof of loyalty. Real loyalty shows up when your success has stopped offering them anything at all. Behavior number 5. Their concern is really a leash. One of the sneakiest forms of manipulation comes dressed up as concern. It doesn't sound like criticism, it sounds like protection. I'm only saying this because I care about you. I just don't want to see you get hurt. Then, gently, they steer you toward lowering your expectations, playing it safe, or walking away from the very ambitions that make you, you. Because it's delivered so calmly and so politely, it's easy to mistake fear for wisdom. But not every warning is meant to protect you. Some are meant to hold you in place. Machiavelli understood that people tend to act in ways that protect their own comfort before they ever consider what's good for someone else. Someone who secretly resents your potential may talk you out of your boldest decisions, not because they actually believe you'll fail, but because your success would force them to face the risks they were never willing to take themselves. Instead of encouraging courage, they normalize staying small. Instead of celebrating growth, they praise playing it safe. Their advice quietly mirrors the limits they've already accepted in their own life. This is why you have to judge advice by what it does to you, not by how gently it's delivered. Real wisdom pushes you to grow, even when it's uncomfortable to hear. Manipulative advice gently talks you into staying exactly where you are. Sometimes the biggest obstacle standing between you and your future isn't open criticism. It's a warm, comforting voice, convincing you that less is enough. If this is resonating with you so far, take a second and hit subscribe. It genuinely helps this channel grow, and we've got several more behaviors coming up, including the one almost nobody sees coming. Behavior number 6, they spread doubt instead of stating facts. Open enemies tend to make their intentions obvious. They criticize you directly. They challenge your ideas out loud. They tell you exactly where they stand. Hidden enemies choose a much more effective strategy. They rarely confront you face to face because direct conflict carries risk. Instead, they lean on whispers, suggestions, and carefully worded questions designed to plant a seed of doubt without ever exposing their real intentions. They might say something like, "I'm probably overthinking this, but doesn't something seem a little different about them lately?" Or, "I could be wrong, but I've heard a few things." A handful of harmless-sounding words, and suddenly suspicion starts growing on its own, while the person who planted it looks completely innocent. This is one of the oldest tricks in the book. People believe an idea far more easily when they think they arrived at it themselves. By asking leading questions instead of making direct accusations, someone can nudge others into filling in the blanks with their own imagination. The rumor spreads on its own, and the person who started it never has to take responsibility for it. Machiavelli understood that reputation is one of the most valuable things a person can hold. Long before modern psychology gave it a name, he recognized that quietly damaging someone's image could be far more effective than confronting them directly. Once trust starts eroding, people begin questioning your every move, even without a shred of evidence. Watch for the people who consistently speak in hints instead of facts. Honest people bring problems to you directly. Manipulative people prefer conversations where they can shape opinions without ever being held responsible for the damage. Behavior number 7. Your confidence makes them cold. Confidence has a strange effect on people. Those who are genuinely secure in themselves usually find it inspiring. Those who are deeply insecure experience it as a quiet threat. This is why some people suddenly turn cold the moment you start respecting yourself a little more. Maybe you start setting boundaries. Maybe you stop over-apologizing for your opinions. Maybe you get more disciplined with your time and your energy. And suddenly, out of nowhere, you're told that you've changed, that you're becoming distant, or difficult, or full of yourself. The truth is much simpler. You just stopped asking for permission to be who you are. Machiavelli understood that real power begins with self-possession. A person who knows their own worth is far harder to manipulate than someone constantly hunting for approval. Hidden enemies sense this, even if they could never explain why it bothers them. They preferred the earlier version of you, the one who doubted themselves, because that uncertainty made you easier to influence. The moment you become confident, you stop tolerating disrespect, stop chasing validation, and stop letting other people decide your worth for you. That quiet independence disrupts a kind of control they used to enjoy without even realizing it. Genuine friends are rarely threatened by your confidence. They celebrate your growth because your strength doesn't take anything away from theirs. But someone who secretly resents you will often mistake your self-respect for arrogance because admitting the truth would mean confronting their own insecurity head-on. They aren't uncomfortable because you think highly of yourself. They're uncomfortable because your self-respect is a mirror showing them a confidence they've never quite found in themselves. Behavior number 8. They feel relief when you fail. One of the harder truths to accept is that not everyone feels disappointed when you fail. Some people feel a quiet sense of relief. They'll never admit it out loud, and they might even offer you a few sympathetic words. But underneath, your setback lifts a weight they've been carrying for a while. As long as you were succeeding, they were forced to compare their own progress against yours. The moment you stumble, that uncomfortable comparison disappears, at least for a while. Your failure becomes proof in their mind that they don't have to question themselves anymore. Machiavelli understood that envy doesn't always chase victory for itself. Sometimes it just wants to see someone else lose. For people trapped in resentment, watching another person fall can feel far easier than putting in the work to rise themselves. Instead of building discipline, they wait for circumstances to humble the very people they secretly admire and resent in equal measure. This is why difficult seasons reveal people's true colors far more clearly than moments of triumph ever do. Pay attention to how people act after you go through a setback. Real friends encourage you, remind you of your strengths, and look for ways to help you recover. Hidden enemies often become strangely calm, almost relaxed. They stop comparing themselves to you because, in their minds, life just balanced the scales. Some will even dress up their satisfaction as concern, asking a dozen questions about what went wrong, while showing almost no interest in how you plan to bounce back. Don't judge people only by how they treat your wins. How they react to your losses tells you far more. Behavior number 9. They secretly compete with you while pretending to support you. Healthy competition can push people to grow and become better. Hidden competition is different. It doesn't come from inspiration. It comes from comparison, insecurity, and a quiet need to feel superior. The most dangerous competitors are usually the ones who never admit they're competing at all. They act supportive on the surface, but privately they're measuring their entire life against yours. Every achievement of yours becomes a scoreboard. Every improvement becomes a challenge they feel forced to answer. Every win becomes something they now have to top. Notice the pattern. Whenever you accomplish something, they suddenly need to bring up something they've done that's bigger, better, or more impressive. You share a goal, and suddenly they reveal a nearly identical one. You improve yourself in some way, and they rush to show off their own progress. It was never about celebrating growth together. It was about making sure they never felt like they were falling behind you. Machiavelli understood that pride and ambition can push people to act on emotion rather than reason. A person driven by envy doesn't always want what you have. Sometimes they simply can't stand the fact that you got there first. Your journey becomes a mirror for everything they feel they're lacking. And instead of using that as fuel, they get quietly obsessed with the comparison. The danger of hidden competition is that you might think you have a supporter standing beside you, when really you have someone waiting for the right moment to get ahead. Watch for people who constantly turn your wins into their own personal contest. True allies walk beside you. Hidden rivals are always trying to walk one step ahead. Behavior number 10. Some people never liked you, and it was never about you at all. Sometimes the most painful realization is also the simplest one. Some people never truly liked you from the start, not because you hurt them, not because you did anything wrong, but because something about you challenged the way they saw themselves. Your confidence reminded them of their own insecurity. Your discipline reminded them of promises they never kept to themselves. Your ambition reminded them of dreams they gave up on somewhere along the way. Instead of letting your qualities inspire them, they quietly turned those same qualities into reasons to judge you. Machiavelli understood that human decisions are usually driven by emotion before logic ever enters the picture. People often decide how they feel first, then go looking for reasons to justify that feeling afterward. That means someone can decide they don't like you, and then build an entire case around it later. Their judgment often has very little to do with who you actually are, and everything to do with their own fears, their own expectations, and their own unresolved frustrations. The mistake a lot of people make is spending years trying to earn approval from someone who quietly decided against them a long time ago. They shrink their personality, they lower their goals, they mute their own confidence, all in the hope of becoming a little more acceptable. But no amount of effort will ever convince someone to appreciate what they've already made up their mind to resent. The wisest response isn't bitterness or revenge, it's awareness. Understand that not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay close to you. Some people show up only to teach you something and then move on. Your worth was never dependent on the approval of people who were never going to see it clearly in the first place. One last thing before we close. The point of all this isn't to become suspicious of everyone around you, it's to become more aware. Machiavelli never taught people to live in constant fear of one another. He taught them to understand human nature, to notice patterns, and to make decisions based on reality instead of appearances. The world isn't made up only of enemies, but it isn't made up only of people with pure intentions either. Wisdom is learning to tell the two apart. Some people will cheer your success out loud while quietly wishing it were theirs. Some will hand you advice while hoping you never outgrow it. Some will stand beside you during the good times and vanish the second things get difficult. These behaviors rarely announce themselves loudly. They show up in small patterns, in quiet moments, in the way people consistently respond to your growth over time. Your job isn't to spend your energy exposing every single person who doesn't support you. Your real strength comes from protecting your focus. Let people's actions reveal who they are while you keep building your own path forward. Someone who truly understands human nature stops chasing approval from every direction. They watch, they learn, and they decide carefully who earns access to their time, their trust, and their loyalty. The goal was never to become cold. The goal is to become clear. Kindness without awareness leaves you exposed. Awareness paired with wisdom makes you steady. The moment you stop begging people to see your worth, their opinion of you starts to lose its grip on you entirely. Your mission was never to get everyone to like you. Your mission is to become someone whose direction is too strong to be shaken by other people's opinions. Remember this. Your success will reveal people to you. Your growth will reveal people to you. Your confidence will reveal people to you. Some will rise right alongside you. Some will quietly drift away. And some will finally show you that they were never really on your side to begin with. Let that knowledge bring you clarity, not bitterness. If you've ever experienced someone who supported you in public but resented you in private, leave this in the comments. I see people clearly. I trust actions over words. I protect my peace. Write it as a reminder to yourself that awareness is your shield, that wisdom is your strength, and that your journey was never meant to require the approval of people who couldn't appreciate where you were going. If this video gave you a little more clarity today, do me a favor and subscribe. It helps more than you'd think, and it means more of these will keep coming your way. The more you understand human nature, the less power hidden motives will ever have over you again.